every week, excuse me. Yeah, every week as I sit down and query the planets as to what is it that is going on this week that might be intriguing enough to share with you all. And there are factors in play this week that are a little bit more relevant than we might overtly be inclined to tune into. We get my phone turned down so it's not making too much noise in the background. Uh, First of all, we just had the eclipse yesterday. I trust that all of you see it or not, or at least, you know, making some kind of an attempt to tap into just what does this particular new moon energy have in store for me, for us. And it's, that the plutonic energy that I mentioned last week, it's still going to be in play this week. When I looked at the different kinds of celestial things that were going on with the planets this week, it was not like Pluto did its thing last week and we're just going to, shine it on. And the reason I say that is when I looked at this week, I went, well, gee whiz, what's going on early in the week? And I went, well, early in the week, the very first things that I noticed is that, we still see Mercury coming into the sun. Well, that doesn't happen until Thursday. So, Wednesday, Thursday. Thursday. Yeah, that's what it is. 25 degrees of Libra. Mercury comes into Cassimi, or conjunction with the sun. It's on the far side of the sun, which basically means it's not running retrograde to us right now. And Cassimi, I'm not sure what language it comes from. I don't think it's Latin. I'm not sure if it's Greek. It might be Aramaic for all I know. But what does it mean? I think that's really where that action is supposed to take place for us. And Cassimi is when a planet essentially is conjunct the sun within say a degree and a half. And while there, the sun is that solar radiant, vibrational core kind of intensity that inspires us to be alive. It comes up every morning, and when the sun brightens up the day, it inspires us to get out and do something. So there's an action part that the sun always represents. Well, when a planet is conjunct the sun, whether it's retrograde or direct, it's basically said to be in the heart of the king's domain, because the sun is the king after all, and being in that position very beneficial for whatever planet it happens to be, because the king recognizes it. He says hello, while you're here, and since you've managed to find your way to being in this zone with me, I would like to invite you to take a seat on that throne over there. And while you're there, I'm going to give you permission to actually, make some regal calls yourself. Welcome to the game. Mercury, how we think and how we communicate. Going to Libra, how is our communication going with the realm of the other, Libra? This is a question that you should be asking yourself, because now that Mercury on this Thursday moves into that position of being, or having the capacity, the ability, the opportunity to sit on the throne of the king, it's highly likely that there might be some edicts coming down that have everything to do with just how well am I connected to others. Yeah, that's the edict, and that's what it's about. Um, Remember, I said that this is almost 26 degrees. This is 25 and a half. Pluto's still up here at 27, so this is a strong square that still exists between this conjunction of the Sun and Mercury. So the ponder factor in play while this Cassimi is going on has everything to do with, are you willing to allow some deep and penetrating experiences to portray that arena of interaction with others? Are you challenging one another effectively enough that growth might be the natural outcome? That's what Pluto really wants, is growth, and to inspire the growth factor. What Pluto does is says, I think there's a part of you that needs to die and pass away, and in that, depending on your willingness, you're going to be provided with something that you didn't have before you allowed that to transpire, and that was space available for something new to put in an appearance. I will harp on this every time Pluto is involved, because Pluto's intense transformational nature is day-night kind of a shift. It's like the old is gone, new seeks to be invited into the equation. There we are in the middle, trying to make the decision as to which way are we going to go here. There are things afoot that very much are in play in this zodiacal dance this week that have everything to do with that Plutonic thing. And then, Pluto, it went direct recently. But I think it was just about the time that Mars moved into its square with Pluto and is now dancing here in Scorpio. And these two planets, well, they're heading for Scorpio too. As a matter of fact, I do believe that, by the end of this week, Mercury will actually enter Scorpio. The dance continues. Let me back up a couple days. Okay, this is Tuesday. Now, generally, on any new moon, you are charged with the process of setting up an intention for the next lunar cycle. And it doesn't necessarily mean you have to etch it into stone per se on that day. Usually there's this overlap of time where the inspiration comes at that new moon. And then you determine, what exactly is it that I need to aim for during this next lunar cycle? And it can take a few days. Well, this particular week that we are in right now, we wouldn't want it to be too similar or too, boring or anything. The moon goes out of bounds on Tuesday and will be out of bounds all the way through Sunday. So remember, we're setting our intentions for the lunar cycle. Well, the lunar cycle basically is going to be doing this whole entire week, starting on Tuesday, out of bounds. Out of bounds. Unpredictability. The wild card. And what? In your lunar mansion? How is it that you feel things? When the moon is out of bounds, it's likely that our senses might be just a wee bit on the tweak side. Is there that potential Uranian unpredictability factor in play? Oh, yes, there is. So setting your intention for the next lunar cycle this week, it's not going to be given to you, you know. And I strongly suspect that as you're trying to make this kind of a determination, the wild card trickster could be on board. Use caution when taking this path, because it's highly likely that the assumptions that are driving your decisions could be just a bit askew from reality. Moon out of bounds. You're feeling a lot more freedom possibility. The wild card is on board, you know. What is it that you're really in your heart want to do? It isn't necessarily that taking those kinds of chances is going to provide you challenges. All of life can be a challenge. Right now, maybe taking those kind of challenges that you wouldn't normally do are just the thing to pay attention, rattle the cage enough that that plutonic energy might, be able to kick something out from what is keeping you from being what it is that you intended as a soul being to be. Take those chances. So the moon goes from Scorpio to Aquarius this week. Up here, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius. Scorpio, investigate the mysteries of life. Sagittarius, take a leap of faith. Discover there's something always next or more that could be beckoning you to participate in it. Capricorn, do you know what your mission in life is? Do you know how to step into a position of leadership that is beneficial to more than just yourself? And Aquarius, the inventor. These are the energies that the moon is playing for us this week. What is it that you might be inspired to dive deep into that Scorpio thing, and that leads toward inventing something very creative in that Aquarius end of the week lunar equation? And in this mix, this is where we are setting our intention for what it is that we would like to live into, shall we say, for this next week's experience. You can kind of see here we're back to our Thursday again. We've got that conjunction. And let's jump ahead just a little bit more. One day, there's Friday. Friday night. Remember? Moon is out of bounds. It's in Capricorn, so there needs to be practicality on board. Also integrity. There's a Capricorn word you don't often hear, particularly these days when you try and place that in the realm of government function. That is Capricorn as well. Do you sense integrity at work within governments around the globe and the things that are trying to be accomplished on the physical plane of things? I'm sensing there's just a wee bit more than a minor amount of things askew per se in that level of governance. And Friday. Mars in Scorpio, doing the dance in the sign that it has traditional rulership for. We've got Mercury in that really nice square up there to Pluto. What kind of words might want to leap to the front? What kind of thoughts might be challenging you to be appropriate and yet at the same time challenging with what it is your thoughts and communications are leaning into? It's in play. Are you really ready, willing, and able to take the chance? Saturday. Guess what? Right on its heels, there comes the sun into that same square with Pluto at the very same time that the moon is up here out of bounds dancing with Pluto. What kind of things do you think Saturday might have in store for us? Sábado, Saturday, ruled by Saturn. Is there the potential for the restrictive nature of Saturn to be in play more so than we anticipate? I'm going to say that if we just leap ahead really quickly to Sunday, Mercury shifts on into Scorpio, forms this nice trine over here to Saturn. There's our Saturn factor in play now, saying, oh, by the way, this is a trine. What is it that we intend to accomplish together? How can we take the intensity of this scorpionic insight into the mysteries of life and push just a little bit harder than normal at the theoretical, Saturnian borderline of what it is that is going on in life? And, Saturn's in Pisces. Neptune is still in Pisces. How are your dreams? Do you sense that there is something potential that this Mercury might be inspired to communicate about that was inspired by your dream cycle? Don't be surprised if it shows up. Other factors. On this very same day, we have this also another nice trine here between Venus and Jupiter. How large, how expansive do you want that Venusian ability to, put the pieces into play in an effective enough way that something can be facilitated effectively together in a meaningful context that it will be able to expand? These are the things, these are the energies in play for this week. I'm not going to do much more than that. I think that's probably enough for y'all to think about. There's magic afoot. The mysteries. We're just about to go into the Scorpio season. Sun goes into Scorpio on Monday. Monday? 23rd. When is the 23rd? Yeah, Monday. So, investigation and mystery. These are scorpionic flavors that we will get into more than just a wee bit starting next week and continuing for the next 4 weeks to play the game in a unique fashion that is going to likely overturn some stones in your path that may have appeared in the way and may lead you on seemingly tangential directions. Not necessarily wrong, just new. So, ciao. Always love to chat with the planets and you. Let's see what we can accomplish today. Let's take that moon out of bounds and take some chances. Adios.